Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today for this video we are gonna do a palette collection. I thought it'd be fun to look back maybe next year or something and see what my palette was like. And also I did a poll on my Instagram and you guys said you would like to see it. So we're gonna do a palette collection. I will leave my Instagram somewhere on here so you can go follow it. If not, I do a lot of polls. And I would really love your input on videos you would love to see from my channel, so please leave those down below. I did film this look that I'm wearing right now, and it will be up either tomorrow or the next day. But we are going to get into all of my palettes. Now, I did separate them by like brands, and then some of them I don't have multiples of the brand, so they're just by themselves. So we are going to get started. Coffee. Okay. Let's just get started with my ColourPop palettes. So the first ColourPop palette I have is this Sweet Talk palette. Now, this is my absolute favorite spring palette right here. I adore these colors, and this shade right here, if you cannot tell, I have used so many times. I just absolutely love the pinks, the peaches, the shimmers, and these are like pressed glitters right here, and they're stunning. I will try to leave links to all the palettes down below, so you can check these out. But this is probably one of my top 5 palettes that I have. This next one is a newer palette to my collection. It is the Going Coconuts palette, and I love that this one has a mirror. I dropped it, so I chipped that one a little bit, but I love this palette. It is a great basic neutrals palette. I love this shimmer shade right here. You could pack this if you needed just another palette to go along with some palettes that don't have like transition colors or anything, or if you just wanted a basic palette, this one is great, and it's only $12. So highly, highly, highly recommend this if you like neutrals. The next palette is the one I'm actually wearing today on my eyes. It's the Whatever palette, and this is what it looks like. I love the way these perform. They are great. The ColourPop shadows are some of my absolute favorite shadow formulas, and I'm definitely disappointed because I thought I had more ColourPop palettes, and I don't, so now I'm just gonna have to order a whole bunch of them. But I love that they have now started including the Super Shock shadow formula in the palettes, because that is some of my favorite shimmer formulas, and they are great, but I don't reach for them when they're in the individual little containers by themselves. So I'm happy they're making their way into palettes. And just look at this one. This one is more of like a darker, like if you want a look, here you go. This might be an everyday palette for some people, but the darker reds and such and the oranges, it's a warmer palette than I would normally go for, but I absolutely love the colors and I absolutely love the formula. So I'm happy about that one. The next stack of palettes are, again, another one of my favorite formulas. These shadows right here have some of the best matte formulas I've ever tried. They blend out so easily, and the pans are freaking huge in these palettes, and they're again affordable. You can buy them at Ulta. They're the Juvia's Place palettes. This one is the newest one to my collection. It's the Nomad palette, and this is it. My husband actually picked this one out for me. I probably would have never bought this one on my own, but I love the greens in here. Like if I'm feeling a green look, I wore this the other day. This green and this gold right here paired together are so stunning. And this shimmer formula, y'all, I'm gonna swatch it for you. It is so good. I cannot get over this formula. The mattes are great. These colors are beautiful. This is definitely not a palette I would reach for in the spring or summer. It's definitely more of a fall winter palette, but I do love the green, and when I am feeling a green look, I reach for this palette. The next palette is the Saharan by Juvia's. Now, this is probably my least favorite of the three I have, just because of the color story. The shadows still perform great. I just never reach for it because this one is not my favorite when it comes to trying to create a look. Like, I like having all these colors in my collection, but I really just never ever reach for this unless it's for the white shimmer. All the other ones, this is a mostly shimmer palette, and I don't know, I just never reach for it just because I have trouble coming up with a look. But I still love the formula. Now, this is my absolute favorite nude palette of all time. It is the Nubian, and it is stunning. This shimmer right here is my absolute favorite shimmer of all time ever. I wear this thing all the time. The browns in here perform so well. They have a mini version of this palette. Like, if I'm going anywhere to travel, this is the only palette I take most of the time, unless I'm doing makeup for someone. I adore this palette. Absolute favorite palette of all time. And they run Juvia's Place, what is it, like sales and stuff like that all the time on Juvia's Place website, or they sell it at Ulta. It's great. The next palette is the Too Faced Just Peachy Matte palette. I do love the formula of these, and they are so pretty, the peachy colors, and they smell like peaches. I did have one other Too Faced, or was it Tarte? I think it was a Tarte palette that I loved, but my husband decided to break it. Him and my son were playing and didn't know I don't know what happened. Anyways, my husband and my child broke it. But this was my other favorite palette. I reach for this one a lot during the spring and summer just because I love the peachy colors and I love the way it smells. It lasts great. I love the formula. But if I had to pick between this one and the ColourPop, I would definitely say get the ColourPop one just because it's way more affordable, and this one is all matte. And that one has matte and shimmers. But I do love having an all matte palette that I can reach into. The matte, white and nude colors are great. I love the browns, the darker ones. This is a great palette if you have been eyeing it. So we are gonna move on to Huda Beauty palettes. Now, all of my Huda palettes I've gotten through subscription boxes, but they are great, and I have my eye on the mini Huda nude palettes. They are stunning, but I have so many palettes in my collection, I just cannot bring myself to spend $25 on a 9-pan palette. So this is the first one. It is the Amethyst Obsessions, and I just used this in one of my recent videos. It is the subscription box try-on for January because I got this in my Ipsy bag. I love this shadow formula so much. It is great, and these are just stunning, especially this one right here. That one was probably my favorite out of the whole palette. I love this formula. It works great, and the colors are pretty. And this one is the Mauve Obsessions. I'm a mauve or neutral girl, so this one is beautiful. I don't ever really reach for the darker ones, but like these right here I use often, and I just am obsessed with the formula. This is a great palette if you are a pinky, mauve-y, like neutral person like I am. Wow. This palette is great, but it's $25, and I just have so much trouble spending that much on there when like ColourPop is so much cheaper and the formula is just as good. The next one is this Huda Beauty highlighting palette. And this is what it looks like. I don't really know if we're just going to use this as a palette. It has 1 cream and 3 shimmers. I did get this in a subscription box. I'm pretty sure it was Ipsy. And I really don't ever reach for this palette. I'm not sure why, but I need to put it in one of my bags. I did reach for this cream highlight in the summertime last year, but I definitely need to put this in one of my makeup bags, like, coming up, because I do want to test this out and give it, because it's stunning, and give it more of like a fair chance, because I really just don't ever reach for this. I got the Jacqueline highlighter palette for Christmas, and that's pretty much the only highlighter that I reach for nowadays. And then we have the Dose of Color Sassy Siennas. I got this again in BoxyCharm, and it's a very pretty color. It is definitely pulling more coral on the camera than it is in person, but I just never really use this palette. I'm not sure why. It has a lot of kick up, and again, I just need to put this in one of my makeup bags so I can use it more often. Like I said in my last video, I'm going to be doing a makeup bag either monthly or every 2 weeks, and I'm going to be rotating my palettes out so that way they all get some use, and that way they're not all sitting in my drawers. Alright, so next we have my Anastasia palettes. These are the only 2 I own. I bought Soft Glam right when it first launched. This is the first like high-end palette that I ever owned, and it has been very well loved, if you can't tell. I adore this palette. It is such a good palette with such good formulas. You could take this and use it anywhere, anytime, for just about any look. I love this dusty rose color. It is so pretty, and it's like a cool tone mauve color. My mom stole this palette from me for a little bit and used up pretty much all. She hit pan on that one. I'm almost out of Temptra. I just adore this palette. Like, it is such a good palette, and I've never used up so much of one palette before, ever. When I get rid of this, or whenever I hit pan on most of the colors, I will 100% repurchase this. And then there's the sultry color, and I have the sultry palette. And this was another palette that I bought right when it came out. It is very dirty. I have not used up quite as much of this palette, but I have definitely used this one a whole lot. It is a cool tone palette. I love cool tones. It is beautiful. It performs so well, just like the Soft Glam. I haven't dipped into all of them, but they're all so beautiful and so stunning. I absolutely 100% recommend these 2 palettes, especially if you are just beginning and you want a great high-end palette. The Soft Glam has so many like neutrals that you can work with. The formula is so easy to work with. The shimmers are beautiful in both of these palettes. I highly, highly, highly recommend, and they are definitely worth the money that you pay for them. The next one I got on my birthday this year, it is the Naked Heat palette. It is definitely a palette I don't reach for very often, but I love it when I do reach for it. This is actually the only Naked palette that this is definitely the only Naked palette that I own. It's the first Naked palette that I've ever owned, and I really enjoy the formula. I love the colors. My child dropped it and busted this one. And this one, the only bad thing about having kids is they play with your makeup. But I love the formula. The shadows are beautiful. Ooh, got that one good. Look at that. I love it. And swatching that really just made me want to bust it back out and use it. I haven't used it in a minute, and I need to. The next thing is my single shadows. I don't really have many single shadows because I never really reach for them, but this one right here is my absolute favorite single shadow. It's from ColourPop. It's called Snake Eyes. I love this color so much. If I'm in a hurry, I'll normally just pop this one all over my lid and call it a day, just because it's so pretty and it blends out so well, and every time I wear it I get compliments. So what is going on? Something's going on. The next thing is a newer palette to my collection. It's the Ace Beaut Vintage Dawn. I'm not sure how much I'll ever reach for this just because they are so warm tone. I might pass this along to like my sister or something who would actually use this more to me. I've never used it, and the colors just do not speak to me so much, so probably just pass that one on to my sister. The next thing is the Jacqueline Cosmetics palette. It is the highlighter palette. Oh my gosh, this palette is so great, and I'm so happy she released like something good and that wasn't like completely messed up after her lipsticks, because I did order her lipsticks and was a hot mess. But I love this palette so much. It is such a good highlighter formula, and it is so blinding. Like this pink one right here I use as a blush topper, like if I want a shimmery blush. And then this highlight and this highlight right here are just my two favorite highlight shades of all time. And this is gorgeous as a blush topper. If you had a deeper skin tone, like it would probably work on me as a highlight, but I just love it as a blush topper because it makes my cheeks look so like shiny and shimmery and good. I'm gonna put it on right now for you. We're gonna put it on. See, it just adds a little, like a glow. It just makes you glowy and beautiful, and your skin look healthy, and I just love that formula. I really want to try her mood lighting, or I don't know what they are, the other ones that are in the little containers. I want to try those so bad. The next palette I have is this Pixie Beauty palette. I got sent this recently in PR, and I haven't had a chance to test it out, but from what I've swatched, it is beautiful. And this is an all shimmer palette, so definitely love my shimmers, and it has some cool tones and warm tones in here, so no matter what you like, you will be finding a great use for this. The next palette is my Blue Blood palette. This is the only Jeffree Star, like actual Jeffree Star palette I own, and I love the packaging. This is it. Now honestly, these are not shades I would reach for often, but I do love this shade right here, and those two, and these. Like basically this whole top row plus those two I would reach for. I haven't used this but one time, just because blues are not really my thing. I was really hoping for the Blood Sugar palette in my Jeffree Star Lucky Bag, but I'm happy I got a Blue Blood palette just because I've always wanted to try out his formula, and it is amazing. And I'm gonna pick up some more of his palettes. I'm so sad he discontinued Thirsty, because I wanted that one so bad, and by the time he announced it was discontinued, it was sold out when I went to grab it. So hoping that he comes up with another palette soon that I love just as much. The next palette is my Morphe James Charles palette. I got that mini palette just because I didn't want the full-size palette, because I just have so many eyeshadows that I thought I would go through this one faster, or like actually use this up before it expired, just because I love these shadows so much. If I travel, I do normally take this palette, because if I want to use color, I can use color. If I want to be neutral, I can be neutral. If I'm feeling cool tone, warm tone, there's everything in this palette that you need. So I absolutely adore this palette. I love the way it performs. It is a great travel palette, or if you are just starting out with makeup and you want to play with every single color. This is a great palette. And the last palette in my collection as of right now is the Morphe Geoffrey Star palette. This palette is everything. I adore the formula. I adore the shades. I adore everything about this palette. It is great. These shades right here are my absolute favorite shades. I've been wearing these two with this one non-stop, and I get so many compliments on it. I just love, love, love the shades in this palette. I bought this for one of my friends for Secret Santa. This palette is so, so, so good. Now, that is all my eyeshadows. I now have a very extensive collection, but I have had subscription boxes for so long. If I don't use them, I get rid of them, so they're not just gonna sit in my drawer. By get rid of them, I mean I pass them along to friends who will use them or family who will use them, and I'm not being wasteful with them. My daughter takes over some of them, but that's because she breaks them and she just loves playing with makeup. So if I'm not going to use it, I just give it to her instead of going to buy play makeup or something like that. You do not need a palette collection this big. But I just am a hoarder and I have trouble getting rid of my palettes. So I keep them around until like my mom or my sister or somebody comes over and is like, I want that. And I'm like, fine. But all that to say, I'm very blessed to have a palette collection this large. This has been a collection of like 3 years worth of palettes. But I just love playing with makeup, which is why I started this YouTube channel in the first place. Just because I just wanted to try something new. I'm normally very introverted, so I'm trying to get out of that, which is why I'm on YouTube. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more videos like this, comment down below what you would like to see. Please subscribe to my channel. I would love to keep you around. And I will see you guys next video.